Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all well. Hope you are all well. So we are here to hopefully be able to listen to Leilani Simon's motion hearing. She's in court in 14 minutes time, 1:30 EST or 6:30 my time. So that's 14 minutes. And the journalists are still waiting to see whether they can have cameras in court. So they're pushing it to the wire to decide whether this thing is going to have cameras or not. So stand by. If not, then hopefully the journalists will be able to tweet from inside the courtroom. Sometimes if cameras are not allowed, judges will allow that. Other times they won't allow any of that. So we're just going to have to wait till afterwards to find out what happened. And for those not familiar with what's going on with Leilani Simon's case at the moment, I'll go through that in a second. I've got an article that explains it all. I did talk about it, actually. Was it yesterday? A little bit. Was it yesterday or the day before? I don't remember. I think it was yesterday. On this channel, I did an update on Michael Vaughan and Quinton Simon's cases. So, yeah, some of you will be up to speed, but maybe not everybody. So we'll go through that in a second. Let's say a few hellos. Let's see who's in here. I can't imagine the chat's going to get very busy, simply because there's so many, there's so many competing things going on. The Alec Murdaugh trial is ongoing. They're still doing jury selection on that. I've been checking in on that. But there's the Iowa murders. There's the antifreeze killer. That trial's going on. So people who are interested in court proceedings, I think, are otherwise engaged. But as we speak, there's 218 of us in. So if the chat does get busier than I expected, then I'll just put slow mode on. But I haven't got slow mode on for the moment. RZTV, oh, you're in. I was hoping that you were going to be in here. I got your package. I got your gift. Thank you so much. I know you sent it way back when, but nothing had arrived that looked like remotely it was from you. I had two big packages, Christmas packages for the dogs. And they arrived what seemed like a somewhat timely fashion. They arrived before Christmas. So thank you to you guys who sent those. One of them didn't have a name on it, I don't think. The other one was from Kim. Thank you. You are so kind to Cassie and Tilly. But RZTV, I went to the sorting office and I said, look, there's this package from America and can you just check? Can you go and look for it? And he went in the back and, you know, I gave him a PO box number and everything. Went in the back and he came out with that, plus a bunch of Christmas cards. So I don't know whether, whether they've just been missed or whether card-shaped things get put in a separate section. I've no idea what went on in the back of there, but I got them. I got some Christmas cards. But RZTV, thank you so much. You are very, very generous. And if Helen's in, Helen Hawley, I got your hat as well. Thank you. I've got a lovely collection of hats from Helen. Hats from Helen. If Helen's in, she's got an Etsy shop, and I never remember what the address is. I should bookmark it, and then I can show you her stuff. But she. Yeah, she has some really nice stuff. So she does like cute hats and stuff like that. So, Cassie, will you stop chewing my chair? Every time. Look, there's your bone. Okay, all right. Cookie Doodles in. Stupid Vegan. With just about as many emojis as we can get. Holly, hi. Robert. Attaway Street, I think that says. Brenda. Terrible Tea, Karma Police, Dana, Jean, Twiggy, Kilt, Jennifer, Sandy, Deborah, Sparrow, Kelly, Mom's the Morse, Sparrow again, Isabel, another Lancashire lass, yay. Blandbriel, Sherry, Trina, Joe, Forensics Lover, Natalie, Shazza, Forrest. Oh, lots of people coming in now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. All right, let's see. Let's check the old Twitters. See what's going on here. So this person, Destiny Wiggins, is from Fox, and she said, we'll learn shortly if cameras are allowed and we are able to live stream the hearing. That was 20 minutes ago. So let's see if she's popped an update on somewhere along the line here. Destiny. Don't let me down, Destiny. We'll learn shortly. No, maybe not. All right. Let's just search for Leilani's name, see if anything else comes up. Stay up to date with all the latest coverage. Who's going to cover the hearing? I am, me. But we've no news. We've no news on whether this is going to be live streamed or not. And it's happening in 8 minutes. So they are cutting it very, very fine. Because once we find out they are going to live stream it, then we've got to find out where. Where they're live streaming it. But I've got this article here. This is what Destiny Wiggins shared. So it's Fox News. I know some of you don't like Fox, but hey, it's just what came up on Twitter when I did a search. So Leilani Simon is due back in court on Wednesday for a motion hearing after being formally indicted in the murder of her 20-month-old son. During the hearing, Chatham County Superior Court Judge Tammy Stokes will decide what types of documents will be available in the case. So this is pretty important. You know, it's very procedural and somewhat boring compared to, you know, the closing arguments of a murder trial or something like that. But it's important. This kind of stuff's important because it tells us what we're going to find out. You know, are there things that are going to be disclosed beforehand in the court, or is everything going to go to trial? And importantly, what will be allowed in that trial? What will be admissible evidence? So the hearing comes following a request from Leilani Simon's lawyers for the court to review all Department of Family and Child Services files involving some of her family members. Those includes Leilani's 3 children, so that includes Quinton, 2 of their fathers, and her mother, Billy Joe. This motion requested the judge to consider whether the release of these files would influence whether Leilani Simon would receive a fair trial. If you want my opinion as a non-legal professional, I think anything that relates to Quinton and Quinton's treatment up to his death, given that his death is allegedly violent, should be admissible. I don't know how you feel about that, but in a motion filed 3 days later, so that was a few days ago, the DFCS asked the court not to release those documents. This motion asserted that those particular documents are confidential and protected. Okay. Because I guess they could allow them for trial, but just not release them until the trial, or release them heavily redacted. I understand that these things from Child Services are confidential, but we've got to weigh it all against what should be admissible in court. This is why this stuff is so important. Wednesday's motion hearing could grant some clarity on how these documents will be handled through the case. So we know she was arrested on November 21st. Yeah, his remains were found in the landfill. So stay with Fox 28 for more coverage on this case. Well, I'd love to, Fox 28. I'd love to. I'd love to stay with you, but are you gonna stream it? Are you gonna do that? Because that's what we've just read. What's happening? What's happening, guys? What's happening? All right, let's go back on Twitter. If anybody finds a stream, then let me know. because nothing's coming up. No, that's the same 20 minutes ago. We'll check these guys out. Oh, it's the same. See, that's the same. We've just read that. Annoying. So I've got 2 of that open now. Hold on. 3 of that open now. It's the same thing going and going and going. Trixie Star's looking. If it's out there, Trixie Star will find it. 4 minutes to go. Yeah, Licia, I agree. Who's going to cover it? Me, if I can get a stream. Maybe no cameras. Yeah, maybe there isn't. But to be honest, I'm expecting there not to be. I'm expecting the judge to say no cameras. But you would think that, the journalists who are covering this would tell us. Even if they don't release any documents regarding the other 2 children, they should at least be made to release the ones about Quinton, seeing as they don't have to protect him anymore. Yeah. And I think that today we will get some clarity of, obviously, the judge's opinion and about what will be admissible moving forward. Nearly. Oops, I mistakenly hit the dislike button, but I corrected it. Oh, thank you. Even Alex Murdaugh has cameras. Yeah, but this one, I guess the sensitivity of the fact that there's 3 children involved, and they might want to have like a full and frank discussion about the children. Don't see any lives, Stupid Vegan says. No, neither do I. I'll have a look on YouTube though. See if I do a search for Leilani Simon. I don't think anybody's even streaming this. Filters, last hour. Let's have a look. That's me. No, there's no one else live on this. No one else live. Maybe it's because they know something I don't. But I was hoping that we'd get at least something from the court here, or something from the journalists as to whether we can expect there to be any news at all. But no, we're not getting anything. We're not getting anything. Can't find anything current. Where's Billy Joe? At home, I think. She was released from jail. She did 10 days in jail. Trisha has something. Who's Trisha? WJCL is my go-to for Quinton. Yeah, I checked them earlier. WJCL and W Talk as well is another one. Oh, it's getting me to verify myself. I've got to do stairs that I'm not a robot. Why are you doing this to me? I have no idea. They're stairs, aren't they? I hate it when they do that. All right. This is what I'm seeing on WJCL. Trial of Alex Murdaugh. Severe thunderstorms. They're not even covering it. They're not even covering it. Look. Not even a mention by the looks of things. What on earth? Let's try W Talk. W Talk 11. Ew, oh, what's this? Leilani Simon has motion hearing. You see, these are just all standard, like, things. They're all saying the same thing. It's just standard press releases. Would Billy Joe have been told to stay off YouTube? Maybe, yeah, but I don't think they can hold her to it. She's got a gag order in place regarding the kids. Yeah. They can't keep her off YouTube, though. She can come on YouTube. There's just certain things she's not allowed to talk about. So in relation to the Someone Else case, like no members of the family are allowed to talk about the boys and their case. But I can't stop them going on YouTube. You're not late because it's meant to start like now, but there's nothing at all on any of the news sites at all. That's right. Yeah, I've just gone through an article. Could it have come from the judge ordering a gag? Well, yeah, but we will be told that. That's the thing. We will be told that. I just wonder whether there's a delay, possibly. Because there's nothing whatsoever. No updates whatsoever. So the journalists who were there at court, so I'm presumably Destiny Wiggins from Fox is there, seeing as it's her that said this 39 minutes ago. Happening at 1:30, Leilani Simon is set to appear in court for a motion hearing after being indicted in the murder. Motion is for the judge to consider release of files, including Simon's family members, which could... not share my tab. Yeah, so that tweet, and then that's the latest we've have. We'll learn shortly if cameras are allowed to see whether we're able to live stream, and then there's nothing else. Fly on the wall. You forgot that I was going live today. Yeah, well, I mean, everyone's preoccupied with the Alex Murdaugh stuff, and so am I, I've got to say. So am I. After the motions from yesterday, the pre-trial motions were quite exciting. Because I like court proceedings and trials and things like that. I don't watch them all. I don't watch a trial just for the sake of watching a trial. Like I was on Law and Crime Network earlier on before I came on, and there's people there in the chat. There's nothing going on at all. Like they're on a break or they're muted because the judge is talking about something that they don't want on camera. And there's people in the chat like, what trial is this? I'm thinking, why have you even clicked on if you don't know what trial it is? I don't know. I suppose people are just looking for something to watch. But I've not watched any of the antifreeze trial because I don't know the case. And I haven't watched the Iowa trial, the Iowa murders trial, because I don't know the case. So I don't watch a trial if I don't know the case. I like to follow a case from the beginning to the end. I like that. Even if I don't cover it on my channel, like there's cases that I followed for a long time. And like the Alex Murdaugh, I followed that for a long time. Not right from the beginning, but since well before he was arrested. When it was all kind of new news, I was interested in it, but I've never covered it on this channel. But yeah, I don't just watch a random trial if I don't know the case. I feel like it's like reading the last chapter of a book. You want to know what the backstory is. And I guess you do get some of the backstory in the trial. You get because of the opening statements, but still, But the Alex Murdaugh one, I've been waiting for that for ages. And there's Letitia, isn't there, coming up? Unless she gets another whatever. Letitia Stoke. Hers is coming up. When's hers? March? Is it March? Letitia Stoke. And there's the Doomsday couple. They're still they're still awaiting trial, aren't they? Still shenanigans going on there. Who else? Richard Allen, of course, from Delphi. Well, Penny, yeah, well, there's not much to watch because we don't believe that there's cameras in court. Because nobody's telling us, and the hearing's now ongoing. So the hearing started 6 minutes ago. So it does look like... Oh, Bull on Betty's there. We are officially in the courthouse and in the courtroom. I don't anticipate Leilani Simon being present, but I'm here to listen to legal arguments and trying to figure out the legal strategy. Bullhorn Betty's in the court. So can Bullhorn Betty tell us? No, Megan Boswell, no, Borrowed Angel, no, unfortunately not. Do you know why? Her trial has been postponed until 2025. 2025. Bull on Betty. Good old Bull on Betty. Let's have a look. I'm sure they're delighted. Oh. I don't get involved in all the shenanigans relating to Bull on Betty, but she's in the courtroom. Look. She's got closer than any of us. Mind you, I've got an excuse. I think I'm about, I don't know, 4,000 miles away. I know I'm 4,000 miles away from Hawkins County, Tennessee. So whatever I am away from Georgia, I think I've got an excuse. Yeah, Borrowed Angel. There is a story to it. I did cover it briefly in a video. I don't think I made a video about the fact that the trial was delayed, but I did mention it. All right, I think I've mentioned it on lives. Donna, there is definitely on Chatham County website under media newsroom press release. SPR dealing with Quinton was November 22nd. Well, that was the day after she was arrested, so they just haven't updated anything. So what happened with Megan Boswell was that at a preliminary hearing, which was September, I think, she requested a new attorney. She'd fallen out with her attorney, and the judge denied it, said that there'd been enough delays and he wasn't going for it at all. So I think they appealed. I think the attorney was sick of Megan, and the relationship between them had broken down. So the judge allowed it. So the old attorney has withdrawn, and we've now got a new attorney. So that new team has got to learn the case. While we're waiting for this, I'll even show you. The nonsense. Okay. Megan. Hearings. You guys see that? While we're waiting for news on Quinton, we might as well. So there you go, Judge James Goodwin. The trial is set for February the 3rd, 2025, starting at 8:30 a.m. It was due to start in, like a week and a bit's time, 2 weeks' time. But it's because there's a new attorney. I don't know why they have to wait 2 years, though. I'm sure that it doesn't take 2 years for a new attorney to learn the case. I am positive. But I guess there might be court delays and da 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 da. So at least she sits in jail until that time. She's not out on bond. She's not living it up. She's not living the high life. She is in jail. Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, look, you can see it. You can see it in black and white right there. February 3rd, 2025. When it was announced, it was at this announcement hearing here in December. It was Ansley Daniel, and we know Ansley Daniel, don't we, from the Summer Wells case. It was Ansley Daniel from WJHL, because she's been covering this case as well as Summers. She's been covering this case forever. And she put on Twitter 2025, and I thought, Ansley, that's got to be a typo. What are you doing? That's got to be a typo. And I thought, no, I'm not gonna respond and say, Ansley, is this a typo? I'm not gonna embarrass myself. I just waited for the for this to update, and it's like, it wasn't a typo. It's real. It's real. Yeah, she's behind bars at least. So, Trina, don't mean to downplay the other case. I just feel like Quinton's justice doesn't seem as important. Well, what can I say? What can I say? It seems that only me and Bull on Betty are covering this at the moment. And Bull on Betty is in the courtroom. So good on her. Let's see if there is any updates. Oh dear. There's nothing else though. So it doesn't look like cameras were allowed in. And maybe they've had to turn the phones off. So we're going to have to wait until they come out, and then the journalists presumably will update. I don't even know whether they were allowed to, like, sometimes they don't allow the cameras in live, but they do film and then they release it kind of shortly after. So I just want the information. Is it gonna, are we going to be able to watch it after? Should I stay on and wait for it to be released, and then we can watch it together? Because I'm not going to stay on here for hours hoping that they're gonna play it on replay. But yeah, I think, to be honest, people have lost interest in this case because it's pretty obvious Leilani did it. I know innocent till proven guilty, but it seems obvious that Leilani did it. So it's just going through the motions, like literally going through the motions. Leilani is no Megan Boswell, that's for sure. I think she is. I think Megan Boswell and Leilani are very similar in their behaviours. I really do. I've said that from day one, that Leilani Simon's Megan Boswell 2.0. I really do. Very similar. Like the way that Leilani just was able to, come on camera and lie, allegedly, in my opinion. And then Megan Boswell was able to come on camera and do interviews. She was doing interviews with Ansley Daniel, standing there smiling. Casey Anthony, yeah, is another one. Yeah. Innocent till proven guilty, indeed. But there's people now saying Casey Anthony didn't do it since that what was it? I can't remember who. Was it Discovery? I haven't watched it anyway. But oh, Grace, what are you telling me here? Murdaugh jury selected and opening statements. Court starts at 3 p.m. Eastern. Brilliant. So that's an hour and 15 minutes. Ooh, good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I'm a little. Do you know what? I'm a little bit too young to appreciate the O.J. Simpson case. I know you might think it's unreal. You might think I'm maybe a lot older than I am, but I remember my nan, because in the UK it's still the same. They are working on slowly introducing cameras into courts in the UK. The trial on, just a few cases to see whether they're going to allow cameras. But when the OJ trial was a big thing, it was a real novelty for us in the UK to actually see footage from inside a courtroom. And my nan, she followed it religiously. She was dead into it. And my uncle as well. They were both into it and both talking about it. And I was a kid. Now, how old would I be? What year was OJ? What year was the case? It was in the 80s, wasn't it? Was it in the 70s? I can't remember. But I know I was a kid. I'm going to have to look it up. O.J. Simpson. Are you going to just give me a quick answer, Google? Or are you going to make me read the entirety of Wikipedia? What? 1995, 1994, 95. No, surely not. Surely not. Was it 90s? Well, I was a grown-up then. I was a grown-up. I don't know. My time perception is so off, honestly. So I wasn't a kid at all. I was a grown-up. I don't know. I just didn't follow it. But yeah, I was into crime. This is the thing. I was into crime. So you would have thought that OJ would have been right up my street, and it just wasn't. It really wasn't. But yeah, like 1994, I had 2 kids in 1994. I had a toddler and a baby in 1994. So I don't understand why I thought I was a kid. But yeah, time perception is very, very odd. I lose track of time so easily, and things just don't make sense very easily. Okay, right. We've got some news, guys. We've got some news. Oh no, we've not. That's from November. I was excited then. Oh, you can watch the live stream by clicking the link, but oh no, that's November as well. Do you know what I said? That do you know what I said? That time perception's not my strong suit. Well, it really isn't. It really isn't my strong suit. All right. So Leilani's motion hearing is going on now. No cameras seem to be allowed. But let's remember Quentin Simon today. Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with Sam's pretty paranormal. Absolutely. All right. Bull on Betty. Good old Bull on Betty. Judge just got into the courtroom. So this was 2 minutes ago. Leilani Simon, the mother of the accused of killing her 20-month-old son. So it looks like we are going to be getting updates from Bull on Betty. Shout out to Bull on Betty. But at least she's updating. If they told them to turn all their electronics off and she's not done, she'll be in big trouble. But still, I'll take it. I'll take it. So obviously the judge just got into the courtroom. It was meant to start 20 minutes ago. Can we trust her? Well, she's in the court. Like she's given us a picture of the court. She's not just giving us a picture of a random court. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep updating Twitter. Can we not be negative? Can we not be negative? I know she's very divisive. Some people love her. Some people absolutely can't stand her. But you got to give her credit. She's actually gone there. She's got in the courtroom. We've got to give her credit. I don't dislike any creator. There's some creators that I don't watch simply for that reason. That I just don't watch them. Oh, this is breaking as well. This is a case that I'm going to get into, I think. I don't know the case, but Florida police have made an arrest in the mysterious murder of Microsoft executive Jared Bredigan in front of his 2-year-old daughter last year. So there's an arrest been made. We're going to look into that one. Okay, Brian Entin, good old Brian. We knew before. Someone in the chat told us before. Okay. All right, Leilani. Let's have a look what the latest is here. Nothing yet. Attorney Dean states Leilani Simon's trial will last a week or longer, etc. Where are you getting that from? I'm on Twitter. No, Glitterwitch, you haven't missed anything because it doesn't look like cameras have been allowed in the courtroom. We've not had any updates from journalists. Bullhorn Betty is the star of this show. I know she's very divisive, but she's in the courtroom. So shout out to her. But just, you know, if I don't mind creators being mentioned. I've not got a problem with creators being mentioned, but it's just when you're negative. If you don't like a creator, then just don't. Just keep your mouth shut. Just stop typing. Stop typing. You can say nice things. You know, you can say nice things. Thank you, Emily, for the $10. That's very kind of you. It's very kind of you. Sam's pretty paranormal. Is that you that I've just been reading on Twitter? Yes, it is. Hey. Yeah. We're struggling here. It would have been nice, Destiny Wiggins from Fox News. It would have been nice to update us, you know, telling us that there's no cameras in court would have been an easy tweet to make. An easy tweet to make. But, yeah, she's not done. Oh, there we go. Update. Oh, it's because Destiny Wiggins, I do apologise. It was because the judge was late. So, cameras or the ability to live stream the hearing are not allowed. Updates on the motions to follow. All right. So, hopefully, they're able to tweet these things out. So, I'm relying on Destiny Wiggins and Bullhorn Betty now. I've got 2 people I can rely on here to give us the information. So it is a bummer that they're not allowing any cameras whatsoever. Doesn't look like they're even going to allow a playback either. Maybe they could do audio. No, they won't. It's not that they, you know, they're just not going to want Leilani on camera or the court on camera. It's that they probably just want a frank discussion without the cameras. Because they allowed the cameras in when she had her initial appearance. We've streamed that live. On the field report of Leilani, yeah. We've now got Destiny Wiggins from Fox News as well, who's updated us. And she said here, update on the motions to follow. So let's just put Leilani Simon in and then just keep clicking update. Looks like Destiny Wiggins is going to update on this, maybe. Huh. Is Bull Betty local to the Georgia area? Depends what you mean by local. I think she lives in Florida, but I don't know. I don't know whereabouts in Florida. So it's not a million miles away, is it? Looks like we'll have to wait for updates. It does look like they're gonna maybe be allowed to tweet. Yeah, it sounds pretty paranormal. I agree with you. Like, I looked on YouTube and there was literally just me live. And then, you know, normally when there's some kind of court appearance, there'll be a bunch of people live, but not in this case. And then Bull Betty is actually there. She lives in Manatee County, Florida. She just jumps in the Betty-mobile and goes. Oh dear. Maybe if I lived in America, I'd be maybe more likely to do that. But there's not much point doing it in the UK. You're not going to find very much out. Wasn't she just in Moscow with Olivia? Yeah. Yeah, she was. 1 hour until opening statements. I know, Amanda, I am definitely going to be off here in that time because I want to watch them as well. And I've made my mind up that I'm not going to stream the trial. I want to watch the trial. I want to actually watch it without worrying about streaming it. And I said yesterday that I wasn't going to cover the case. I just wanted to watch it as a viewer. But then in my video this morning, I ended up talking about it because it was really interesting. If anybody watched yesterday afternoon's coverage, and the ballistics expert, what was his name? Paul Greer, and his explanation of how they look at cartridges that have cycled through a firearm. And he had a little discussion on unspent cartridges. So those that have been put into the chamber, but not fired, but expelled and extracted from the chamber, and then that expels it. and it has the same striations and marks, like microscopically, as if it had been fired. And it made me think of the Delphi case and Richard Allen, because that's exactly the situation that we're going to be in when Richard Allen's case gets to trial. It'll be the same discussion. So that's what one of the things I talked about in my video this morning, that let's watch this ballistics discussion in the Murdaugh trial once we get to the evidence and the judge has allowed that testimony in, that expert in the trial. And it's going to be a really interesting discussion, and we're going to learn stuff that will most probably be very, very applicable, directly applicable to Richard Allen. So okay, Shay from WTalk. Here in the motion hearing, we are able to record today's proceedings, though the prosecution has expressed that they plan to object to the recording or live streaming of any future motions or a trial. So they are recording it. Yeah, Dawn. Shay from WTalk says, we are able to record today's proceedings, though the prosecution has expressed that they plan to object to the recording or live streaming of any future motion hearings or a trial. Huh. Wow. So, we'll hang around. We'll hang around for a while and see whether... You see, I don't expect this hearing is going to be mega quick, because the point of it is to discuss a really important matter. And for those that are not familiar with what's actually going on today, then I'll just read through this article again. So this is from Fox News. So due back in court, going on right now. So the hearing comes following a request from Simon's lawyers for the court to review all Department of Family and Children's Services files involving some of her family members. Those include Leilani's 3 children, and that includes Quinton, 2 of their fathers, and her mother. This motion requested the judge to consider whether the release of these files would influence whether Leilani Simon would receive a fair trial. In a motion filed 3 days later, however, the DFCS asked the court not to release those documents. This motion asserted that those particular documents are confidential and protected. So it's the Department of Family and Child Services that is objecting to these documents being released, although Leilani's defense want them to be looked at by the judge and to be considered whether releasing them will be a problem for her. So Wednesday's motion could grant some clarity on how these documents will be handled through Simon's case. And I think this is really important. As I said at the beginning of this live stream, I think this is really important because we'll get some clarity about how the judge is going to work this case, what we're going to be able to learn through the process, what we'll have to wait for until trial, but importantly, what will be admissible in court during the trial. And my personal opinion is that anything at all related to Quinton should be admissible. And we don't necessarily need to see it now. We just need to know that it's going to be everything to do with Quinton. His entire life is going to be considered, because potentially it could be relevant. I can understand why they might want to keep out of it the other two children, because we don't know. They might have been treated wonderfully, and it might not be relevant to Quinton. And we want to know about Quinton. We want to know why Quinton died, why she killed Quinton, allegedly, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think she did it. And I want to know why. I want to know why. Maybe it is DCFSF, whatever they're called. Drop the ball. Maybe. Maybe. Do you think we will ever find out why? Well, we might not ever find out. We might not ever find out from Leilani, but, you know, the more information that's released at trial, the more insight we'll have. And it's important. I really think it's important to know what happened to Quinton, and what on earth happened, and who's blameworthy. You know, obviously Leilani is, but, you know, should the Department of Family Child Services, you know, have some blame cast towards them? What happened? What on earth happened in this case? What happened? What went wrong? I want to know what went wrong in this case. Why is Quinton dead? I want to know. It's just really important. And often these procedural details in court cases get missed. They get passed over. And it can be the thing that makes us understand that entire case moving forward. So I was hoping it was going to be live, but I guess we're getting the next best thing. If they're allowing recording today, hopefully we'll get a replay of that soon. Before, we've got 50 minutes before opening statements in the Murdaugh trial. And so I am going to get off. Even if this has not come out, I am going to get off to go and watch the opening statements. But I'll put the link up. I'll put the link up in the description box of this live. I'll also put the link up on MichelleAfterDark as well. And I'll share it on Twitter, and I'll share it on Facebook. I'll share it across all my platforms so that you can watch it. Where am I watching it? Who's watching it? Is someone watching it? Is it out? Is it out? If anybody's found it. Okay. All right. So Cubs girl. Today's hearing in Savannah in the Quinton Simon case was uneventful. We've learned that the February 13th hearing will likely be moved, and Judge Stokes will rule later if cameras will be in court for that hearing. Leilani Simon was not in court. So not as exciting as I thought. February 13th hearing will likely be moved. Judge Stokes will rule later if cameras. Today's hearing. Oh, everybody's quoting Brett Buffington. Brett Buffington's all over the Alec Murdaugh trial. Let's retweet Brett. We like Brett. Okay, so maybe. Well, where's this clarity? Where's this information that we were? She should be ordered to attend. She should be. Why are they not ordered to attend? Why is it that people can just choose not to come to court when their case is being heard? They should be told they've got to. Where will I be watching the Murdaugh trial? Court TV are streaming it. Law and Crime Network are streaming it. I've been watching Law and Crime Network, but it's all the same. Like, it's just a camera. It's all the same. Don't know much about the Murdaugh crime. Could I do a stream about that? It's very, very complex. The whole case is very complex. So doing one live stream on it will not even touch the sides. It's a case that right. So Maggie and Paul Murdaugh were shot to death. Right. That's what, June 2021. But previous to that, there's 3 deaths that have been not, they've not been, it's not been stated that the Murdaughs are involved, apart from one, right? So there was a boat crash and a young woman lost her life. She got thrown out of the boat when it crashed, and they only found her body a week later. So she must have passed out on the impact, and then she's drowned. And Paul Murdaugh was drunk, very, very drunk, driving this boat, and wouldn't let anybody else take the wheel of this boat, or the whatever, rudder, whatever you call it, the steering wheel of a boat, right? Yeah, so that case was due to go to trial. And then Paul Murdaugh was shot to death. A housekeeper of the Murdaughs, who were very rich, filthy rich, died in their house, and the family of this housekeeper were told by Alec Murdaugh to use his law firm to get compo, and they never get anything. Right? They never got anything. All this money was paid out, but they never got anything. So that's ongoing. And then the other one was a young man who has been possibly implicated, connected to the Murdaughs, was found dead in the road. And it was initially said he died of a gunshot wound. And then it completely changed to he died of a hit and run accident. And it was an accidental death. So something dodgy went on there. The Murdaughs have run that county for almost 100 years. So the generations of Murdaughs go back and back and back and back. And I've heard from people who live in that county, like personally told me, who live in that county, that they just rule it. And they just do what they want. They just do whatever they want. The whole thing's corrupt. I mean, if we think Hawkins County's corrupt, those of us that are following the Summer Wells case, then this county has got nothing on Hawkins County whatsoever. It's so complex, like the rabbit holes that you can go into. It's why I found it so interesting, but I've never even tried to cover it because there's so many rabbit holes you can go down. It's called a wheel, unless there's a tiller. We just call it a wheel. Right, great, good. That's easy. Yeah, that's easy. That's easy. It's a big wheel. It's a big wheel. All right. Yeah, so now Alec Murdaugh's on trial. Oh, and there was also thousands of dollars embezzled from his law firm, which he was also implicated in just before Maggie and Paul was shot to death. So you've got to believe it. This is a case that there's some good channels that have done kind of overall summaries of the case. I like the way Kendall Ray did it. She did a somewhat of a deep dive into it, just kind of laying out the, all the different things. That's a good few months ago now, though. But I like the way she did it. There's a few channels, and there's some really good podcasts who've really dug into it. There's some good podcasts out there. So there's a lot of information if you want to get up to speed, but it's not a quick. You can't just get the cliff notes and expect to understand the whole thing. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And that's why I've been waiting for this trial, because I'm going to be furious probably, because how they've got a jury that is completely impartial beggars belief. And why was that case not taken completely out of the area? Right? Why was it not taken completely out of the area? So Eric Allen did a great job. Who's Eric Allen? Gray Hughes. Yeah, Gray Hughes has covered this. Yeah, I've watched some of Gray's coverage on it. I don't know who Eric Allen is, though. Millions. I bet it is. I bet it is. I mean, it's just, it's astonishing. It's astonishing. Somebody needs to take that county and just basically shake it upside down. And a whole load of Murdaugh corruption, it will fall out. And honestly, this is probably the tip of the iceberg. Eric Allen's a local. I'll check him out. Is he on YouTube or is it a podcast? Because some good podcasts are not on YouTube. We got any updates yet? But it's absolutely it's enthralling, and I've been waiting for this case to go to trial, eagerly waiting for it to go to trial. If he gets off with it, though, if he gets off with it, I'll be absolutely furious, because innocent till proven guilty and all that, but I think he did it. Oh yes, and before he was arrested, there's another thing. Before he was arrested, right, he he called 911 saying that he'd been shot in the head, right, and that he'd broken down and he was changing a tire. Right, get this. As if Alec Murdaugh has ever changed a tire in his life. He'd get one of his minions to come and do it. Right, but no. He was changing a tire and this truck drove up alongside him and shot him in the head. Right, but yeah, he was able to just ring 911 and say that he'd been shot in the head. So it was like a graze. First of all, he said that this was somebody out to get the Murdaugh family, and you better believe that there should be people out to get the Murdaugh family. I don't agree with Maggie, right, the wife, like leave the Murdaugh, you know, I guess outsiders, people who've married in, leave them alone. But the Murdaughs themselves, they're dirty. It's corruption at its finest. Yeah, Paul was the driver of the boat, absolutely. And he was drunk as a lord. Oh, he was drunk as a lord. And his father, right, get this, right? If your kid, let's say, your adult kid, right, was caused a crash, whether it's a car, a boat, it doesn't matter, caused a crash, and somebody was killed. At the time, they didn't know, to be fair, let's be fair, at the time, they didn't know that this young woman had been killed, because they only found her a week later. She was just missing. But she was presumed killed, and he could have killed the whole lot of them. But his father walks along and says, oh, no, can't take, you can't do a breathalyzer, can't be tested, not allowed to test him. Right. Come on now. But no, but it was due to go to trial, and then Paul was shot dead. So the cook is dead too. It's a housekeeper. I don't know if she was a cook, but it was a housekeeper. Yeah, so shot himself in the head. I'm going to say shot himself in the head, but it was just a graze. Taking some guts, I've got to tell you, to shoot yourself in the head. Or he got someone else to shoot him. I don't know. He said that somebody was out to get the Murdaughs. Then he changed his story and said he was trying to kill himself because he was so upset that his wife and his son had been murdered. Honestly. Yeah, absolutely, Emily. You were absolutely right. He fought with people who wanted him not to drive. He did. He would not. Other people on the boat said, come on now, Paul. Come on now, Paul. You've had enough. He's absolutely stinking drunk. You've had enough. I'll drive. But no, wouldn't let. He was aggressive. He got violent. He wouldn't let anybody drive that boat. And he crashed it. And someone died. Absolutely, it was, Karen. It was a scam to get money off the housekeeper's family and to keep the money. The compo, they kept where's the money? Where's the money? Honestly. And this trial is only going to scratch the surface. Is literally only going to scratch the surface of it, because it's of, you know, the details about the young woman who was killed in the boat, that's not admissible. The housekeeper, not admissible. There might be some stuff about his financial problems that could come up, but it's literally just about the murders of Maggie and Paul. And so it should be, because they deserve justice. I mean, Paul was a complete rotter, I've got to tell you. I don't have that much sympathy for Paul, other than nobody should lose their lives, simple as. But I don't really have any sympathy for him. But I don't think the world's any worse off for him not being here. However, I feel sorry for Maggie. I feel very sorry for Maggie. And also there's a surviving son who he's never spoken out, so I don't know whether to feel sorry for him or not. But if he's sticking up for his dad, then I'm not going to feel sorry for him. But rightly, the trial should be about their murders and getting justice for them. But there's so much more to this. So much more to this. And, you know, sometimes it all comes out when they're dead. You know, it all comes out. It all comes flooding out when they're dead. Like Jimmy Savile, all that came flooding out once he was dead. But while there's surviving Murdaughs, while there's people to carry on that line, that 100-year line in that county, it's going to carry on. Do you think he killed them? I do. I do think he killed them. Motive, I think, I don't know, honestly, but I think he was ashamed of Paul, because, you know, this thing was going to trial and it was going to drag the name of Murdaugh through the mud. And I think maybe Maggie was going to blow the whistle on all the financial nonsense. I think there's something along those lines. And I don't know. I read the 62-page motion. There's 2 reports that have come out from the defence. And in one of those reports, it talked about might as well show you while we're on here. I know, I'm sorry, guys, those of you who were only interested in Leilani Simon. But you did ask. Or at least somebody did. All right, let me just find. Some of this is gruesome. I'm not going to read it all word for word. Some of it's gruesome. This is available online. I just have to share my screen in a different way. Share my entire screen here so I can show you this. So this came out a few days ago. 62 pages. And it's got some details of the crime scene. So Maggie and Paul were at the dog kennels, right? They had like multiple properties. Like this was just like their hunting property. This wasn't even just like thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. Like they own basically the whole county. Right. So Maggie's found here. There's like this big shed thing here. Maggie's found here. Paul's found here. This is the storage room, like a feed room for the dogs, like dog food and stuff. So Paul, I think, was shot inside the storage room. And there's details in this about, you know, where the shots were, where they were, all the markers. Like these are markers 2 through 7 are the cartridges that were tested. That was the subject of the motion, the expert witness going to the pre-trial motion hearing yesterday. It was all talking about the markers 2 through 7. But what I want to know is who was killed first. And we might never know that, because they were obviously killed in quick succession. So they're not going to be able to determine that through time of death. And there's also going to be no blood transfer because they're too far away from each other. And there's this building thing possibly in the way. But I want to know who was killed first, because I think that gives us some indication of motive, maybe. I don't know. Because if Alec, let's say he did it, innocent until proven guilty, but let's just say he did it. Let's say he was targeting Paul, and Paul literally was shot in the head, so much so that his brains came out. It's in this report. It's in this report. His brain was severed from his head. This is how gruesome it was. He was literally shot in the head, right? So was Paul the target? And maybe Maggie heard shooting and came running to save Paul, and then she was shot several times. And there was a shot in her hand, a shot in her. Let me just see if I can. This is just some of the. I don't know this document well enough yet to just be able to go to it. It's in here somewhere. Okay. All right, that's Paul. So this is just about this person's opinion. Paul. I want Maggie. Here we go. Gunshot wounds to Margaret. So there was a gunshot to her left torso. So it kind of shoots upwards into her torso and then catches her lower jaw, face, and ear. That was the death shot. That was the one that killed her. But there was shot to the wrist, shot to the thigh, shot to the back of the head, shot to her upper abdomen. So there was actually 5 gunshots. Whereas Paul was shot very cleanly. Whereas Maggie, it was a different gun. This is the other thing. It was a different gun. So was it premeditated? Did somebody come along? Did Alec come along and have 2 guns with him so that it looked like 2 people? So did he go out there literally to shoot Paul and Maggie? Or did he go out to shoot Paul, but then Maggie came to his aid and he had to shoot her because she'd obviously seen him? You see, I want to know, I need to know who was killed first. Did he intend to kill them both? Because that all adds to a speculation, which can be nothing more than speculation, but more of an educated speculation on what the motive might have been. So, yeah. All right, let's go back to Leilani for a second here. I'm going to give it one more shot, see whether we've got anything. We've not got anything. Not got anything. Has anything come out on WSAV? It's all about Murdaugh. Let's have a look to see whether anything's come out on. Let's just do Leilani Simon. Last hour. Well, that's not about Leilani Simon, is it? It's about. Why not even giving me anything? News. Nothing. Nothing in the last hour about Leilani Simon. What on earth? There's really not very much interest in this at all. It's so sad. It's so sad. There's really not very much interest in this case at all anymore. But I think maybe it's because everybody secretly knows that Leilani did it, and let's just get the trial over with. So there is some, I guess. Anyway, if anybody finds it, there's an update from Brett Buffington, is there? All right. Good old Brett Buffington. You see, if they're not doing what I'm searching for. What? Brett Buffington account suspended? Seriously? No way. What are you telling me? Is that a different Brett Buffington? Come on now. Come on now. What? Oh, there he is. There he is. It was a different Brett Buffington. Oh dear. All right. The prosecutor in this case is arguing for cameras not to be allowed. We've heard that. We've heard that. So that's not an update. "28 minutes, 7 minutes. Prosecutor in this case is arguing for cameras not to be allowed in the courtroom." So is the hearing must be still going on? So we're probably not gonna get to be able to watch it together. No, it's all right. It was another Brett Buffington. It was a fake Brett Buffington. Don't worry. the real Brett's fine. He's fine. He's not been suspended. He's not been naughty. Yeah, and I get that. I do get that. However, these motion hearings are really important because they tell us how the trial is going to be handled. It gives us insight into how that trial is going to be handled. What information is going to be admissible in court is really important. Really important. I don't expect to have all the information. I don't expect them to release anything to the public if they don't want to before the trial. But what I want to know is what's going to be admissible in court and how that trial is going to be handled. That's part of the justice process that people don't take seriously enough. And it absolutely is serious. It's very serious. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine and it's good that she's been denied bond. She's not getting out anytime soon. She's going to spend most probably the rest of her life behind bars. That's great. But until she is, found guilty, then I want as much information as the public can be afforded without obviously jeopardizing anything of the justice process. Yeah, I think she has learnt from the gag order. Yeah. So, but there's so many cases. I wish, there's some cases that just get no attention whatsoever. Like the Cal City boys, like their trial's coming up, the West's trial's coming up. Now, there's been talk, there's been some speculation that the it's going to be moved back. But who's talking about them? Who's talking about Trezell and Jacqueline West trial coming up? Even I didn't mention it earlier when I was talking about upcoming trials. Even I'd forgotten about it. But that's coming up soon. Cody Bigsby has been missing almost a year. Little Cody Bigsby, where's Cody? No one talks about Cody Bigsby anymore. Been missing almost a year. I think it was the 31st of January. So it's almost a year. Lena Keel, been missing a year. 20th of December, she went missing. So she's been missing over a year now. Nobody talks about Lena. No news whatsoever. Probably a cold case, because as far back as last June, the police said in her case that they weren't getting any new tips. Like they did a reappeal for tips because they weren't getting any tips. So chances are Lena is just going to be a cold case. And then Cody Bigsby, Corey Bigsby's going to have been in jail for a year. He's facing child neglect charges, but yet, where's Cody? Where is he? Dylan Rounds. Dylan Rounds went missing in May. Dylan Rounds. I think there is movement on Dylan's case. I think there's some movement on Dylan's case, but obviously the family are keeping hush. But the police have been awful. The police just messed up. Absolutely the worst mess up I could ever see. James Brenner was allowed to clean out his shed, which most probably would have had key evidence. But he cleaned out his shed in full view of the search parties because the cops just weren't interested. Daniel Robinson. At least Daniel Robinson's dad's out there. And there's a nice team of them who go out looking for Daniel. I covered Daniel in Cold Case Christmas. I did Daniel. Even though most of the cold cases that I covered were older cases, but I covered a few kind of recent. I did Caitlin Ledbetter. No news at all about Caitlin Ledbetter from Tennessee. And I covered Daniel. Recent ones. But if it wasn't for his dad, I follow his dad on Twitter. So I get the updates from his dad. But if it wasn't for that, his Twitter account's called Please Find Daniel. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, if it wasn't for him, no one would have ever heard of Daniel Robinson. All right, I'm just going to do one more check here to see if anything else has come out. And then I'm going to call it a night because I want to go and watch opening statements. Let's spell Leilani right. Still not spelled Leilani right. What the hell? Leilani Simon. No, nothing. Still nothing in the news. All right, guys. I'm going to call it. Have they identified Athena yet? They haven't formally come out and said, not as far as I know. However, they have had her funeral. So I think it's her. It's got to be her, hasn't it? It's got to be her. Hold on, I've got my arm trapped somehow. Hold on. All right, do it that way. It's not like my literal arm, it's the sweater arm stuck on the chair that Cassie's been chewing. So I've not got like my literal arm stuck. Hold on, I'm just gonna do a quick look for Athena. But I do know that it was her funeral. Enfield. Hold on, I'll just share this with you. There you go. Family members of Athena Brownfield open up about caretaker charges, blah, blah. Funeral announced for slain 4-year-old Athena. Funeral service has been announced. So, yeah, she has been identified. Community gathering for Athena Brownfield's funeral. Today. It's today. So, yeah, it was her. Anyway, gonna go now. Gonna go. It's streaming live soon. What is the hearing or the trial? Are we talking about Leilani? Or we know that Alec Mert. Or the funeral. Oh, I'll watch it. I might not watch it live though, because the trial's starting soon. 17 minutes, 18 minutes. London lady, who's ignoring you? Or LDN lady, I presume that's London. I'm not ignoring anyone. I'm just, I can't read every single message. I just can't. So I'm sorry if I've not been reading your chats out. London lady, look, if you're that upset that I've been ignoring your chat, then I'm sorry. But yeah, it's not all about you. If you want everything to be about you, why don't you start your own channel and then see how hard it is to reply to every single message and every single reply in the chat. So there you go. So boo-hoo to you, London lady. All right, guys. Well, I might just block you, London lady, and then you're going to feel ignored, aren't you? You're in a timeout now. There you go. Ha ha ha. Be back in for, what is it, 300 seconds, and I'm going to be gone by then. So, yeah, that's how it feels like to be ignored. Wasn't intentional, but that one was. So, yeah, entitlement, yeah, entitled. Hey, you're not a relative of Alec Murdaugh, are you? Are you a relative of Alec Murdaugh? Are you here just to, see what we're all talking about? Is that what you're doing? All right. Yeah. She's not blocked. She's not blocked. She can come back in 300 seconds, but we're all going to be gone by then. I'll run and hide from London lady. I'll run and hide. She's got all the attention she desires now. Oh, dear. Right. Thank you, guys, for being sensible. And, yeah, I can't reply to every single person. Come on. I appreciate everyone, but I can't reply to every single person. But thank you for being respectful. Thank you, as always, to the mods. Thanks for the super chats. No memberships on this channel, so I can't say welcome to all the new members. But maybe the next live will be over on the other channel where there is memberships. And on that channel, if we get 1,000 likes during a stream, if I remember, I give some memberships away. If I remember, sometimes I only look afterwards and think, oh, there you go. But anyway, 9 times out of 10, I think I do remember and give some free memberships away. But right, I'm going to go and get ready to watch this trial opening statements. Once the hearing for Leilani Simon comes online, then I'll put it in the description box of this live, and I'll share it on all my platforms. I'll share it in the community on YouTube. I'll share it in Facebook, and I'll share it on Twitter as well. So that's all I can do. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to watch it together, but we'll do the next best thing. All right. See you soon. Bye, guys.